AITA for pointing out my colleague is divorced during discussion. So I was recently dragged into a conversation at work. A male and female coworker were talking across from me and I'm not sure how they got to this topic because I wasn't paying attention, but the male coworker asked if we thought it was okay for women to become a single mom through a sperm donor. Before I could say anything, my female coworker said she thought it was a bad idea since children need a mom and a dad. I asked her if she then also thought same-sex couples shouldn't have kids, to which she immediately replied they shouldn't and went on a rampage to defend her point. Now, I have multiple friends that are in a same-sex couple and some of them do have kids and they are amazing parents. So I pointed out that by her logic, she should not have kids either since she is newly divorced and that means her kids don't have mom and dad available at all times either. Needless to say, this brought the discussion to a speedy halt. Some co-workers said AITA because she had a very bad divorce and still suffers from it, so I shouldn't have brought it up. I didn't mean to shame her because of getting divorced at all. Sometimes there is simply no other solution. I was just trying to point out that you could easily turn around her arguments against single parents or same-sex parents to reflect on her situation. So AITA, edit, wow. This is my first time posting on here and did not expect this big of a reaction, but thank you all for your input. Looking back, I could have chosen my words more carefully or opted out of the convo. I'll admit I can be a bit hot-headed if I feel strongly about a certain subject. NTA. All you did was turn her awful logic on her. If she was hurt by having her own beliefs applied to her, then she should really reevaluate those beliefs. What she said was wrong and bigoted. Going through a tough divorce doesn't excuse her of that. NTA. You gave her the rope, she hanged herself with it. NTA. She's a bigot and a hypocrite. Calling her out and thinking her own skewed logic through is not an R move at all. She made her bed by saying stupid stuff. You never know who's in the closet and here's her bigotry, so the fact that she says stuff that's not only factually wrong but really hurtful means she doesn't give a damn about others. Honestly, the whole conversation should have been shut down, because what the fuck? Hey, let's pass judgment on whether we think other people's life and family choices are valid is not really a topic of conversation for work. It's none of this dude's business whether women become single moms by choice. If someone asked him to be a donor, he can work that out with his actual friends or a therapist. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Commenting on the ways other people are living their lives wrong opens you up to criticism on your own choices, so I think it's a low blow but fair. But honestly would have been better to tell them all to shut it. NTA. AITA for not giving my ex the stuff we bought for our stillborn daughter after he lost his job. My 26F ex, 27 meters, cheated on me 2 days after our daughter was stillborn. He wasn't going to tell me until the woman got pregnant. I found out 3 months to the day that my daughter died. Then I kicked him out. He and the woman are now together and their son was born a few weeks ago. He asked me for the stuff we bought for our daughter. He said he lost his job and she's not earning much and they don't have enough for him. Told him to leave me alone and forget I ever existed, like I was trying to do with him. He told me I was being spiteful and needed to think of his son, who is innocent in all this. He then started telling some people who knew us both. Most told him he was out of line to even ask, but a few of the friends we had suggested that I should put aside my hurt and anger and think of the boy who is my daughter's brother and that I need to be the bigger person. AITA? No, absolutely not. He can go to a second-hand store and get the things he needs. He can ask friends. NTA. His son being innocent in all this doesn't mean you have to give things bought for your baby to the asshole who chose to cheat on you 2 days after her death. He seems to forget that you were innocent in all this as well. The only two who weren't innocent are your cheating ex and the woman who fucked him. You are already the bigger person by not fucking someone else while in a relationship. Your friends are telling you to be a doormat and you should block any of them who tell you that you should prioritize making things easier for your cheating asshole of an ex. NTA at all. No question about it, he moved on until he needed something from you after shattering your life to pieces. You owe nothing to any of them. It's amazing how sanctimonious some people can be if it's not them hurting. Op should just block him and these people on every channel. Needed to think of his son, who is innocent in all this. Do you though? Because I don't think you need to give any more of a shit about this kid than any other random kid in the world. NTA. The absolute cheek of this loser. AITA for refusing to get my in-laws anything for Christmas to prove a point to my husband. Been together 9 years, 29f/30 meters. Have 2 kids. I absolutely adore my in-laws. They are fantastic people and I get along with them swimmingly. My family is far from perfect and raised me in a very toxic environment, so having positive people like my in-laws in my life has been a godsend. However, because my husband knows how toxic my family was when I was growing up, he refuses to include them in anything. This is the only downfall in our marriage. They have never done him wrong or done myself wrong for years either, but he doesn't give a shit. Just completely disregards that they even exist. We get his family something for Christmas every year, as well as spending the even day with them every year. Mine is lucky to get a Merry Christmas text. Now, my sister is almost 18 and just found out she is pregnant. She's against abortion and did use a condom, which obviously broke. She lives with her BF's parents, who have made both her and her BF's lives a complete hell since finding out. My sister and her BF both worked part-time and went to school, but after his parents found out they were pregnant, made their son drop out of school and get a full-time job. He was 4 months from getting all credits to graduate. They also upped their rent from $400 a month to $800 a month, even though their rent is only $950 for a 6-bedroom house and they can't use any of the spare rooms, plus they have to buy their own food, pay the internet and electric bill, not included in their rent, can't take showers all but once a week to save on water, and basically are limited to their bedroom. They practically have to ask to take a piss. They have even deliberately made my sister feel like shit by saying they won't be carting her ass around to any appointments for free. Knowing this info, I wanted to get her something for the baby, knowing that there was no way in hell they could afford one living under her BF's parents' roof. I wanted to buy her a crib, the same one I had for my kiddos, the one that changes into a toddler bed and then a day bed it grows with the baby. She could use it for years. It was only $199 on sale. I purchased mine for $699. So I told my husband I wanted to buy it and he lost his shit. Said that he wasn't going to break the bank to support a child having a child, and said she decided to have a baby, she can go get a job and buy a crib. It's not my job to give her gifts. Mind you, I work full-time, more hours than him by a long shot, but he works salary and technically makes more. I was livid, I'll admit, and immediately snapped back with, well, looks like we will be crossing mommy and daddy off the Christmas list because they have jobs and can buy their own gifts. Since that conversation I have held the same tune, though he claims this is entirely different and that I'm an ass for trying to compare the two. Christmas gifts / baby gifts. AITA? I think you should ignore your husband and buy your sister a crib. And I think you need to ignore the devil on your shoulder and select gifts for your in-laws. If purchasing gifts for family is a task you usually do, then do it and tell him to butt out. You are eventually going to have this fight. Stick to your guns, do the right thing, and go ahead and have it. Thank you. I wasn't looking for advice, but it turns out I may have needed it to think logically. You're right. Info. Is there a way to help your sister and her boyfriend find a place to rent of their own? If they are paying $800+ a month to his parents, maybe they can afford something else and then not have to deal with his parents. Made their son drop out of school and get a full-time job. He was 4 months from getting all credits to graduate. They also upped their rent from $400 a month to $800 a month, even though their rent is only $950 for a 6-bedroom house and they can't use any of the spare rooms, plus they have to buy their own food, pay the internet and electric bill, not included in their rent, can't take showers all but once a week to save on water, and basically are limited to their bedroom. Seriously, WTF is up with those parents? Are some of these conditions even legal? They need to get the hell out of there. I think everyone in this situation is toxic besides the sister, the boyfriend and NTA. NTA. Even if he hadn't had a history with your parents and ignoring your side of the family, this is awful. Why would he be such a jerk to your sister? Will you never be able to buy her anything? He sounds like a complete jerk. I totally get the point you're trying to make, and this has zero to do with your family being toxic. Does he alienate you from your friends too, or just your family? Well, I mean, I haven't hung out with anyone in 4 years, but I'm a mom though. Sometimes it does come with the territory, so I wouldn't blame him for that. NTA. As it turns out, you don't need your husband's permission to buy your sister this very thoughtful, useful gift. You work full-time, so you can afford it yourself. Your husband is being really shitty and completely unreasonable about this. Talk about toxic. See, I have brought that up and told him that while he claims to hate my toxic family, he's being pretty toxic himself, and his response is no, I'm not being toxic. I'm setting boundaries. There is a huge difference.